What's the most satisfying way you've seen karma catch up to a lying coworker? There's always that one coworker who acts friendly until something goes wrong. Then suddenly, you're the problem. For me, that person was Tammy. I work at a client services center doing project planning and oversight. My job gives me access to highly restricted client data, information that only a handful of people in the company can view. I don't have authority to issue orders or make management decisions, but I do have the clearance to handle reports other departments can't touch. That kind of access creates a strange dynamic. Managers can ask for things through the right channels, but they rely on me to actually pull the data. That's how Tammy got her opportunity. She was one of 3 leads in the call center department, outwardly professional, inwardly conniving. She learned there was a loophole in our system. Once a manager's request for restricted data was approved one time, they could continue to request similar reports without additional oversight. Tammy used that loophole constantly. She started asking me for 2 specific reports. One listed half of a client's order details. The other listed the other half. On their own, each report was harmless, used to verify order accuracy. But Tammy began combining them, essentially reconstructing full client profiles she wasn't supposed to have. Then she used that data to make unauthorized edits to client accounts. It was subtle, but serious. Eventually, compliance noticed her accessing client files without permission. When questioned, Tammy didn't hesitate to blame me. She claimed I'd been sending her those reports daily without being asked. According to her, she thought it was standard practice. I was shocked. She knew perfectly well that I only pulled data upon request and that every report was logged. But while the investigation was ongoing, we were both suspended without pay. Weeks passed. When the final decision came through, it said, no wrongdoing discovered. But even without guilt, the entire incident went on my employment record. My security clearance, something I'd worked years to earn, was marked with a red flag. Tammy walked away untouched. I was furious, but I couldn't do anything. The company considered it closed. A year later, karma came calling. I was assigned to assist with a forensic review of an older closed database. It was supposed to be a simple audit. Check for system inconsistencies, document anything unusual, move on. The project involved several department leads, including Tammy. We hadn't spoken since the suspension, and I planned to keep it that way. But while reviewing thousands of old entries, I noticed something strange. Some order timestamps didn't match archived reports from the same time period. Orders showed unrealistic turnaround times, as if they'd been completed almost instantly. I started tracing the inconsistencies, and a pattern emerged. Nearly every suspicious order originated from Tammy's department. I reported it to my supervisor, who authorized me to investigate further. After a few long weeks of digging, the truth became clear. Tammy and several of her leads had been manipulating past client orders, changing completion dates to make it look like their team was handling tasks faster than anyone else. Because the changes were disguised as client updates, the system didn't flag them. That trick had been going on for months. Their performance metrics skyrocketed. They received public praise, quarterly bonuses, and recognition from upper management, all built on falsified data. When I compiled my findings, compliance immediately launched a formal investigation. It confirmed everything: the manipulated records, the false reporting, and the pattern that matched the exact time frame Tammy's team had been top performing. It turned out she had personally approved or submitted many of the altered entries. The outcome was swift. Tammy was terminated for falsifying company records and defrauding the performance bonus system. One of her assistant leads was demoted for knowing and saying nothing. Another had already left the company, but was still named in the report. The company even began legal proceedings to recover the bonuses she'd earned under false pretenses, over $5,000 in total. When the internal memo went out announcing her termination, I didn't feel the need to gloat. I just sat there quietly, remembering how she'd once thrown me under the bus to save herself. This time, the truth had done the talking for me. In the end, she lost her job, her reputation, and her credibility. I regained my standing in the company and had the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes karma doesn't need help. It just needs time.